In this video, we're going to create a standard sprinkler inspection. First thing we're going to do is create or join inspection at the top here. And we're going to do a search. I like to search by address because we will get that address in WAM for the building we're being sent to. And sometimes we don't know the customer actual building number, which is what this is searching for in the building. So I'm going to select the address, 90 Dean. I'm going to select 90 Goodway Drive, and I'll see if there's a lot of inspections here. I don't want to see all these inspections, so I'm going to narrow it down by selecting the inspected icon at the top here. It turns yellow, and now it's going to only show me buildings that have been inspected and have devices. I'm going to scroll down to the one that I want, which is the bottom one here, Rick Standard Sprinkler. Select that. Right now I don't want to put a work order number, so I'm just going to select next on here. That's going to bring me over to my inspection types. I want to select a sprinkler down here. And now this is important. If I select a quarterly, I'm only going to get my quarterly questions. If I select semi-annual, I'll get my semi-annual, my quarterly, my monthly, my weeklies. Same thing with the quarterly, I'll get the quarterly, monthly, and weeklies. Anything below the item I'm inspecting. If I select annual, I'm going to get annual, semi-annual, quarterly, monthly, weekly. So for now, I'll just say we're doing a quarterly inspection. I'm going to grab the quarterly, and here at the bottom, before I hit create, I've got my customer, I've got my address, I've got my inspection type is sprinkler, and my frequency is quarterly. I'm going to select create, and that inspection is going to be created. Now that the inspection is created, I'm in the summary screen. This is an important screen because here I want to go into my building. Over to the right next to summary, progress, and building, I'm going to select building. I want to see if there's any notes on this inspection. And there's 2 notes. And 1, annual inspection is due in May. Dry trip is due in May of 2024. See, it says make it permanent, yes, but it doesn't show on the report. This is just a note to another inspector. I'm going to select the back button now. And here I have main drain questions. If this is where customers require me to do a monthly main drain, I would put this information here because you're not going to get that if you're going to be doing a quarterly inspection. That was just a note I put in there before. Now if I want to add notes, I would select the add note icon, and I would say today's date, 2-10-10-20. And if I had any notes I wanted to put in here for today, maybe there was a deficiency or something I wanted to look at the next time I go in there, I would put those notes in here. And I would just say on here, performed quarterly. Okay, quarterly inspection. And I'd hit save. Now if I wanted to make it a permanent note, I'd put that permanent, show in the report, don't show in the report. So right now we'll just leave it like that, show in the report, and I'll hit save. That's a note you can put anytime, you can change it, do whatever you want with those notes, but those notes are for you to either put on your report or not put on your report, but they're for other inspectors too to read and see what you did. I'm going to go back out of notes by backing out of it. I'm going to go back over to the top left menu, the 3 horizontal bars, and we'll start right off the beginning. We'll go into contacts. If we have any contacts, we can add contacts here. We can go by here and putting in the person's role, the contact person, phone number, email. I won't do that right now, but we can do that. Or I can go down to the top left menu and go into the general section. General sections ask you just basic questions that are being answered by the owner, answered by the inspector, and you can see that some of these questions have been answered before because there's a reverse arrow on the right side of the question. It's internal pipe examiner. If I can select that, it's going to retrieve my previous answer, and I can do that. It was completed on 5/27/18. I can see those are notes from before, and I can answer those questions either one at a time, just retrieve all those previous answers, and keep going down. Were all sprinkler heads made after 1920? I would select yes. I continue to answer those questions. For now, I'm going to go back out of the general questions by hitting the top left menu, and I'm going to systems now. So in systems here, I've got a lot of systems. I've got an antifreeze, I've got a deluge, I've got a dry, easy riser shotgun, pre-action special system, standpipe system, and a wet system. All those systems have their own set of questions. Antifreeze has 4 questions, and when you see that icon that says 0 of 4, you select that icon, and there it asks you for the size, the specific gravity, antifreeze corrected type, and what is the antifreeze protection level. I'm not going to answer those right now, but you would be. Once you're done answering the questions, you would go into the white space next to antifreeze system. Just place your finger in there and it brings up another screen, your pass or fail. I can pass that, right? It takes it out of my to-do bucket at the top and puts it over into my passed bucket. Now let's say I wanted to add devices. I want to add a system. I go to the top right menu, 3 vertical dots, select that, and it brings up another screen at the bottom, add new device. I want to add a new device. I'm going to select the arrow where it's device type, and I want to select one of these systems. Do I want to add an antifreeze, a deluge, a dry, easy riser shotgun? Let's say we're adding another wet system. I'll select wet system at the bottom. It brings me up to device type wet system. I'll select next. And my description, and I'll say it's basement riser room wet system. Okay, if I have a barcode, I would put that in there. If I have a location, I would select this, and I'm going to select basement, and done. Okay, I'm going to save that, and now I've got this new wet system, the basement riser room wet system at the bottom here. Again, it has its own questions, 0 of 23, so I'll select the 0 of 23, and there's my make and model I'd put in, what the size of the pipe valve, is the system hydraulically calculated. It would ask all these questions, right? Now, once you answer these questions, you don't have to answer many of them again. The make and model, the size of the pipe, is the system hydraulically calculated, nameplate present, those will all come back to you. You're only answering those one time. I'm going to go out of here, and when I'm all done answering these questions, I would select next to each one of these, next in that white space next to the wet system or anywhere in that white space, I select that. It brings me up a pass or fail option. Or, get out of there again, I can go into the top right menu, select the bulk actions, and I want to do pass. I can bolt select all of these and hit apply. Are you sure you want to pass these 8 devices? I'll confirm that. And there's my 8 devices I passed. I have no more systems to test now. They're already out of my to-do list or in my passed bucket. I'm going to go to the top left menu again, move my way down to control valves. There's 15 control valves here, each one of them having 7 questions, or except for a check valve only has 2. But we look at the control valve questions. These will all come back to you. Type and size should be in there. The signs, valve open, secured, sealed, locked, supervised. Once you answer the questions like this, they'll come back to you already answered the next time you come in. If I can find one that we've already answered, which I haven't done this inspection for, here's one here. There's a standard control valve right here. See 6 of system control valve, it says 6 of 7 questions are answered. You notice I didn't answer any of these questions, and they came back to me. The one question I neglected to answer last time was a type and size, and I can put down butterfly 4-inch. Okay, and I'll save that. Now I go back, hit the back arrow, and it says 7 of 7 questions are answered. I'm not going to answer the rest of these questions for the sake of time, but I am going to bulk answer all of them again by going to the top right menu, bulk actions, and I'm going to pass all these control valves. Select them, apply, and confirm. I've just answered all my control valves. I'm going to go out of here to the top left menu again and go down to water supplies and controls. These are questions that will ask about sprinkler systems, main control valves, sealed, locked, or supervised. I can just quickly answer those with the reversed arrow. I'll just say yes and yes. Okay. Are the sealed control valves in open position? I'll put NA. There's no sealed control valves there. Water supplies. The type in here is city. It's already been answered. Tanks, pumps, and fire department connections. Again, these questions, we have to give them something, so I'm just going to retrieve the previous answer on all of these. And on this one, I'm going to select not applicable, because we don't have any of that in this building. Same thing here, not applicable. I'm going to hit the back button, and I'm going to go back out of this and go into my next one, tampers, flows, and miscellaneous devices. And here we have a bunch of things. Air compressors, air maintenance switches, all these particular items here, right? I don't want to answer all these questions, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bulk answer all of these. You can do them one at a time, or you can bulk answer. Just for the sake of this video, I'm going to bulk answer them so we can get through this inspection. And a pass, select all, and apply. Now I just answered 51 devices in about 10 seconds. Now if there's anything that needed to be different, I would go into here, and let's say this air pressure switch didn't pass the inspection. I would select inside that white space where it says pass 6 seconds ago. Right next to that, I'm going to select that. I'm going to fail it. I'm going to give it a functional failure, no alarm when tested. And I'm going to hit apply. Okay, you'll notice that went over to my failed bucket. So now we're done with tampers and flows and miscellaneous devices. We're going to scroll down to the main drain test. And there's some questions there. And you'll see that this water flow test, it's a main drain test. And you can see that 8 of 11 questions are answered because we've done this inspection before. But let's look and see what they are. The test pipe location, the size, the previous main drain date, and previous main drain static, previous main drain residual. Now we've got static. There's our previous inspection right there. So now I can go back to this, and let's see, the previous main drain was done, I'll say it was done in, let's see, December, right? December 2019. Save that. Static pressure, I'll say it was 85. Save that. Previous residual, let's see, the previous residual was 78, so we're going to go ahead and put 78. And now I've got my new information I need to put in there, so I've got to change this. Let's say today it wasn't 85 anymore, it was 86, we'll say. Save that. And then we could change the residual, time to return to normal, the static side after the completion of the test. If that's all the same, we'll leave that all the same. And we'll get back out of here by hitting the back arrow. Then I can go in here and hit pass. And the same thing with my next one. I've got 3 questions left to be answered. My previous main drain static, and residual. So we'll look down there. 7567. So we'll go down here with the previous main drain test date was December 2019. If you know the actual date, you can put December 2nd, 2019. And hit save. Previous main drain static, I forgot what it was already, so I'm just going to say 78. And previous main drain residual, I'll put down 65 because I don't really know what it was right now. I don't remember. I was close. So now we scroll through this. There's all our residuals and everything. We're not going to change any of that because we already know what it is. And I'm done with that. I'm going to back out of that and pass that. Now we're through the main drain section. We've got to go below main drain, alarm, sprinklers, and piping. And there's alarm questions about the water motor gong, and I'm just going to select these 3, retrieve previous answers. Okay. And did the water motors operate? We're going to say yes, they did operate. Okay. Go back out of here, sprinkler piping. And these are standard general sprinkler piping questions, as you can see. Just going to scroll and answer those questions as we're supposed to. Get out of there. Now I've got down to recommendations. I'm just going to put my previous answer, which was none at this time. Adjustments and corrections made. Previous answer was none. List change in occupancy, none. And deficiencies. Did we discuss those with the customer? Yes. Water motor alarm did alarm. That's what it said last time. If we wanted to see that, we want to see water motor alarm did not alarm, and it covers up that, so that's not a good thing right now. We're going to go out of here, back out, and if we want to put additional deficiencies, this is the one where you would put down if there was problems with loaded heads or something. So I'm going to hit the retrieve previous answer. Water motor alarm did not, and it said spare head wrench needed. I'm going to save that, get out of here. I'm going to take a look at my report now and see where we're at. So I'm going to go into this left menu where it says report. I'm going to hit preview report. And we'll turn the phone sideways so we can see the report a little bit better. There's a failure reason here. What is this? Air pressure switch that we failed. No alarm when tested. Other deficiencies. Water motor alarm did not alarm. Spare head wrench needed. And there's all our general questions that we answered. I didn't answer any of these, so they came up not answered for the generals. But that's something you would be answering. There's more general questions. Now we've got dry systems and pre-actions and all that. Now, none of the questions were answered, so you're seeing that none of these questions are showing up on our report because we didn't answer any, except for the dry system make and model and protected from freezing. Just those questions were answered. All these would have answers on them if we had answered them. Wet system, same thing. We get down to our control valves. There's different control valves, hose valves, and check valves, pressure regulating, inspectors, test, drum drip. Now we've got one control valve we did answer the questions for. It was a system control valve. It was easy accessible. It was tampered, supervised. Yes, everything is in there. If we're happy with this report and all the things we put in here, we would go on to back from preview report and close inspection and generate report. We're going to say no, close the inspection. And now we've got a signature. First, we're going to start off with the inspector's signature. Select that, and at the top, use my profile signature. We'll sign off. Now we just signed off with the profile signature. We're going to go into add new, put the customer's name in there, John Day, his job title, which we're going to say is building manager, and we're going to add his signature. Now, if John's not there to sign on the screen, but he wants a hard copy, we're going to turn this over. And instead of signing his name, we're just going to put a little line in the bottom left corner there, right above where it says cancel. And we're going to say use signature. Now what that's going to do for us, we're going to hit save, and we're going to confirm that. What that's going to do, we're going to go preview the report by hitting the left menu, preview the report, and we're going to scroll down to that signature page, the very last page. And let's take a look at that, what the signature says there. Oops, second last page. You'll see there's the inspector's signature, and there's the printed name of the building manager, John Day, and that little tiny box right there is where we put that little line where he can sign if he wants to sign a hard copy. If we decide that John wants to sign a report, let's go back into inspection signature. We're going to go into John Day, and we're going to go into here. We want to edit this. So we're going to go back to the right, and we're going to change it. Sign on the screen, and let John come in and sign his name. Use that signature, and save. Now John's signature is in there. We're ready to close this report. If we want to put any general inspection notes or anything else, we can do that. If we want to go into email recipients, and remember, in those profile contacts we had, our SIR, we had our manager. We can always click one of these, click all of them, or not use any of them, which I won't now because those are real people. And I'm going to hit save for this. I don't want to do any more. I want to close the inspection, and I'm going to say no changes can be made. I'm going to say yes, close the inspection. And now it's going to bring us a sign, report sent, has been emailed to me, and please check my email. I'll select OK. and that I wait for the email to come to me.